I try to get people to watch it without knowing anything about it, and I implore them to stick with it past the 80s love story. It's supposed to operate as if it could be a dream to some degree, but then on another level, it's definitely real. You're treading that line. In the middle of the night, it's always a dreamscape. Those are words from director Steve Jarnatt on his 1988 film, Miracle Mile. Seeing Faces in Movies is a podcast where each month I focus on the works of a different director or cinematographer. And each week I invite a guest on to discuss a film and the artist's filmography. I'm your host, Felicia, and this is a special features episode, and these monthly bonus episodes are outside of the filmographies of the current director in focus. Special features came about because I want to talk to someone I love about a film either they love or I love, and hopefully we both love. So today we're talking about Miracle Mile, and a quick synopsis of the film is: a young man hears a chance phone call telling him that a nuclear war has started and missiles will hit the city within 70 minutes. Tagline for the film is, you just found out that you have 24 hours to live. What are you going to do? The film stars Anthony Edwards as Harry Washello, Mare Winningham as Julie Peters, John Agar as Ivan Peters, and Lou Hancock as Lucy Peters. It's written and directed by Steve Jarnatt, cinematography by Theo Van de Sande, edited by Steven Semel and Kathy Weaver, and music by Tangerine Dream and Paul Haslinger. Today I have Joey Gantner to welcome me back for the very first special features back since the break. Joey's been on before twice. He's also done another special features with me. We did Repo Man, but we also did, you were one of the earlier ones when I did Robbie Mueller, and we talked about a big one, To Live and Die in LA. Thanks so much for coming on for Miracle Mile. You're the only person that I would have wanted to talk about this movie with.
I would hope so, but it makes me happy that is how I'm associated in life.
I feel like every single movie we talked about has been like a big hitter. So
I'm not here for your
small.
I'm not here for your indie films or your foreign anything like that. Nothing with gravitas. I'm here for your crowd pleasers, I suppose.
A couple we've got done. This is our second punk-ish movie. It's a little less punk than Repo Man, but I do want to talk about that. But before we get into that, you have a podcast called Out of the Podcast.
Yes.
There's an insane amount of episodes on the very best film noirs.
Thank you. I just realized that this morning because someone was asking for some of like the promo art we did for the shows. So I was putting that together and I was like, wow, this went over like 100 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty crazy. You were on some of them. They're great episodes.
Yes. I will say your podcast, and I'm not just saying that to your face, is the only one I've listened to every single episode of.
Wow.
And Dar, who you kind of know, he and I, when there was like a couple that we just hadn't seen the movie yet, we're like, okay, we have to seek out the movie so we can listen to the episode. I didn't want spoilers.
Yeah, of course.
So if you like film noir, if you like neo-noir, please listen to the show because you've got an insane amount of really good episodes out there, and there's a great catalog, and I think we're in November, so
that's right.
The time to do it.
Hoping to bring back at least close up the podcast for a while in style. So yeah. I mean, I've been plotting it. I actually, and this is my first podcast on a new computer, which has been
nice.
This is going well so far. It seems like a totally different experience than the one I was using. So it's feeling comfortable. I'm going to try to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think it'd be a regular basis thing, but I miss doing it, and I feel like at least I need to close it up right if I'm doing it that way. But it's in my thoughts. Plus, there's so many more movies to watch, and
I know.
Yeah, it'll happen. It's just finding time, which now leads to the next segue of a time sucker. What you were going into before? Yeah, sorry.
I know you have been busy also with your label, Sludge People.
Yes,
which has put out a lot. It's a cassette label, so you put out
Yes. So
records,
don't
aren't you,
get too
Sky?
excited, everybody. Yeah.
I mean, that's very in. I feel like I bought some stuff, and I didn't even tell you that I bought some stuff. I have some coasters, and I have a keychain that I have on my car keychain. So I have some stuff of yours in the house, and it's great. And I bought the Cassie
That's
Ramone
awesome.
album too. That was fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you. More to come with that. I keep naming things that I have more coming from. Yeah, we're actually working on a box set of all of her stuff right now.
Oh wow.
This is an exclusive, and so it's got that. It's gonna have like a book of hopefully like art and photos from her, and then also like an exclusive tape of some like demos, unreleased stuff. So should be pretty cool. I've also been literally as of today like working on designs for that. It's exciting. That's it's crazy these partnerships I've been able to make happen through this. Because I'm just a fan of everything. I'm just some guy. It's wild. She actually played my 40th birthday party, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which was about a year ago now, which is weird to think about, but that's a whole other podcast. Although you know what, existentialism, we're probably going to get into it, so watch
Yep.
out. Yeah, no, cool stuff coming from there, and I'm drawing again, so
Yes.
I've actually been working on a comic, and I know I've threatened this over the years, but it is as close to real as ever. Like pages are getting done, so it's
Oh
good. Things are good.
wow. No,
Yeah.
that's so good. Wow, you're coming at me with a lot of great news, a lot of stuff that's making me happy. I'm genuinely so happy about that. I was like, I really want to, even though I don't have enough listeners for merch, but I was like, I wonder if I could commission you to do some artwork at some point.
Oh, in a heartbeat. I'd be honored.
Oh, please. I love your artwork, and again, I feel like you should know that I would never just say that to your face. I would just not say it at all.
Yeah, I don't even think I would be here, so I appreciate it.
So, if there's interest for some tote bags, some t-shirts, then you're the person I'm gonna hit up.
Awesome.
There we go. I am curious though. w- What do you remember your first time watching Miracle Mile and what your thoughts were?
I do. I don't necessarily remember uh how I got to it. It must have been on some list of like fucking great secret gems, depressing movies, possible Tangerine Dream list of because we'll get into it and maybe this is it now, but like they're soundtrack legends and
Yeah.
at the very least, and in a way where you're like, you have to check out the movies they scored just to see like what it added to it. And most of the time they had great choices. I don't, nothing comes to mind that wasn't good, but I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
if I saw a list, I'd be like, oh yeah, that was a turd. But um, they do interesting work. And this score in particular is one of their best. I mean, the assignment is basically scoring the end of the fucking world. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna sound pretty good on some synths. So everything's great. But yeah, I watched it and it haunted me until even now. Yeah, no, it sticks with me. My favorite thing in the world is to just show people this movie out of nowhere, to just drop it in on them. I don't like even telling them the title. People like to look things up. I'm guilty as well. And I can't have that. Not in this. So you just need to know. You got to sit through this thing for 20 minutes and you're like, what the fuck did you put on for me? I don't care about this romance movie. Sure, it's fine and cute. But once that phone call comes in, you know why I sat you down. You know what you're in for.
Hmm.
And you got to see how far it's going to go. And the good news is, obviously listeners have seen this movie, I should hope, it goes all the way. There is, it does what it should do in this scenario, to the point where I'm sure you have the trivia of just like how long this movie took to get made. Like,
Yep.
I won't. It's very interesting.
No, yeah, we will get into that, especially off the top. And because there's so many points that you just mentioned.
I actually wait. I do remember why I saw this movie. I'm a Lizzie McGuire fan, and I wanted to go through the crew list, and No, but fun fact: the director of this movie directed a lot of Lizzie
Oh, did
McGuire
he?
episodes. Yeah, sorry, I was making a joke. I didn't know if this had come up in your research.
I mean,
I mean, no shade to Lizzie. It's fine.
I didn't look at his TV work, but that's funny. My sister
It is.
was a
Yeah.
huge Lizzie McGuire fan, and she made me watch a lot of it and the movie more
There you
than
go. So
once.
maybe the best stuff was his, where you're like, wow, this one was bearable. This one where like Lizzie is fighting off a nuclear apocalypse is that really said something to me.
I mean, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch them. I'm sure. Hopefully, they're on YouTube.
And maybe this is how you get your sister to watch this movie, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's the aim. That's been the end game, to be honest.
We'll make a phone call at the end.
But the very first time I watched this was actually in a cinema, a theater in Toronto. Uh,
Very cool.
I never heard of it, but there is a film program that I've mentioned on the show before, called Neon Dreams. They were putting it on. It was one of their first screenings. And I went with a coworker after work. He was like, "Do you want to go see a movie?" I was like, "Yes." I don't care what it is, especially because I knew it was short enough. Like it should be good, 90 minutes of my time. And he didn't love it, but
Oh,
I immediately walked out and was like, "This is one of the best things I've ever seen." And I went to every screening they had post that one because of that movie.
wow. That's amazing.
I know. It was, great to see it that way for the first time, and I think the director it's been well over 10 years since this happened, but I'm pretty sure the director phoned in for sent them a video to play at the top to just be like,
I
"Oh,
believe it. He's very accessible for sure. He's one of he's among the reasons of why I still have a Facebook is being a Facebook friend with him.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Should've got him on the show. I should have asked."
you know,
Maybe
uh,
I will get him to record something and add it in. We'll see.
that would be very, very cool. Absolutely. No, he seems cool. I have a collection of his short stories that he published like a couple years back.
Oh, wow.
That's that's pretty cool. I like how he's also just didn't do much, and like in
Mhm.
a way, like I like that it's just very limited. I mean, his other movie, which is Cherry 2000, is it as great as this one? No, but it's fun for what it is, like.
Yeah.
And that was more of just like he didn't write that one. That was just like taking on a gig. But this one, I mean, it's a passion project, and it
Mhm.
definitely it shows. And in many ways, that's what's so great about it.
Well, that's a great lead up to kind of some trivia fun facts, I guess, about the film. And you can keep me honest, but I know that this was originally optioned to be one of these segments in the Twilight Zone movie. Um,
The whole segment, actually.
it was supposed to be the whole movie.
They were going to make it a whole movie and just be like the Twilight Zone movie, and it's this story, and they were going to try to make the I guess probably sci-fi up the ending
Mhm.
maybe or something like that. The ending was what was such a holdup for this because everyone's like, this is the greatest script ever, and one of the reasons for it is the fact that everyone dies in the end. I mean, this thing,
Yeah.
the nuke goes off. There's some lead up and right towards the end, which by the way, the reason why I was a smidge late for the recording of this, I was finishing the movie. That's how closely I was like, I just I wanted to be fresh, and perhaps I was a bit too fresh, but it was all for the sake of the podcast. So there you go. A little BTS for you guys. But yeah, there's like a couple moments where they're like, oh, like it hasn't hit yet, the payload, as they say. Like, maybe everything's going to be okay. And gosh darn it, maybe a hope it is for these two doomed lovers, but no, not at all. It happens, and that is great. But yeah, everyone's like, we want a happy ending. Like,
Mm.
we'll give you what you need for that. And I mean, shout out to the director for just making sure that that was not compromised. And Twilight Zone would have been cool. It's kind of you could see how that would fit. Like, it's not
Yep.
crazy, but you would have to take it like as is. And you've been rewatching The Twilight Zone recently, which I've been meaning to get into with
For the
you,
first
or
time.
watching
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah. How deep into it are you at this point?
We're still in season one, but at the very, very end. So about to start season two. And like everything, and it's actually so funny. This is actually somewhat fitting to something else I want to talk about. I know that the cinematographer for that show, George T. Clemens, shot every single episode, which is absolutely insane, I think, for TV.
Wow. I don't know.
And the cinematographer for this film, his name's like what's his name? Theo Van de Sand. His work is amazing in this, but he really didn't shoot. He shot a lot of stuff, but none of it is even worth noting other than maybe if you think that Wayne's World is visually appealing to you. It's great,
Well,
great film,
it's not. First
but
off, that's cool to know that he did both of those because I'm a huge Wayne's World fan. But it's not an ugly movie, you know, especially for
it's
like a
not.
'90s comedy. So I think it actually, I think the fact that it doesn't stand out in either direction kind of shows how good
Hmm.
it is. Sometimes you just being unnoticed is the talent. But
That's
in
true.
this, it looks fucking great. There's so many
Yes.
night shots. A lot of the action's happening after hours because, you sleep through your alarm and that
Hmm.
happens, which I can very much relate to because I don't know. When I take like deep naps, I swear like I wake up and some notable figure dies like while I was sleeping. Like
Oh no.
there's news alerts of like this huge celebrity died. I'm like, oh my God, like what the fuck? Like every time it's a very specific nap, but it's those ones where what? You wake up and it's just like something happened. And I could very much see missing a very important date or,
Hmm.
the nuke going off. I'm hoping I sleep through that if possible. The nap doesn't need
Exactly.
to end if that's going down, but hey, we'll see.
I don't take naps because anytime I do, I wake up feeling absolutely worse than I did before I took the nap. But
They're risky.
I
I
would hope.
understand.
Yeah. I mean, a date at midnight is also pushing it.
Yes. But these are supposed to be kids, right? Well, I guess he says he's 30, right?
Yeah.
I guess 30, you're still pretending like you could do midnight
Yeah.
dates and you're in LA, you're being quirky, like had a little science museum date. Mayor Winningham, who is just like, she's quirky.
Hmm.
She's definitely a personality. There's actually another connection before I forget,
Okay.
even though I don't think I would have, because I have at least the note of this actor. Kurt Fuller is in this movie, who is also in Wayne's World, and
Yes. Hmm.
he is so good in this. He is this guy who's like took every drug possible because he's like
Yes.
he knows the shit is going down, which is just brilliant. There's so many of
Fair.
these like like you think like, okay, the world's gonna end. What do you do? And there's so many possibilities, and I feel like a lot
Hmm.
of them are covered here. I love the guy who shoots the cameraman in the news report. That's a lot of fun. Um,
Yep.
it's so much fun, and we're laughing. But I mean, it's also dark and depressing.
Yes.
Certainly, now, not to make things topical, but I mean, or this feels like it could happen again. Like
Hmm.
we're all Anthony Edwards just waiting to take that goddamn call. But yeah, and that's what's so interesting about the tone of this movie is just like it starts very light and whimsical and then just like once it goes down, like it's going off. The Tangerine Dream soundtrack is very, I mean, it has to be one of the first like scores designed to induce stress and like keep things
Hmm.
moving, like which is very popular now, but like this was a trailblazer in that regard. And I ranked this pretty high in their films they
Their scores.
scored, like
Mm.
their scores. Yeah, for sure.
No, I mean, I agree. I think it's fantastic and it comes in at the right moments. And I think because, the first 15, 20 minutes, I don't even know if it's a full 20 minutes of the film
Oh,
where
it
they're
is.
just
I
kind of
checked.
setting up. It is 20 minutes.
I was there, and I'm like, you know what? How long is this? Because sometimes it
Yeah.
feels a little long. You're like, and when I'm showing people this, you could start to see them like going because I hype it, and I'm confident enough to hype it. But I know, and I love even the fact that they doubt me in that moment. But yeah, we do it.
No, it's fair because I think I also it had been a hot minute since I'd seen it and I also forgot. I remembered that opening sequence being shorter and then the phone call
Yeah.
happening a lot earlier. It's still not long in retrospect. Again, it's not a long movie at all. But the other stuff happens so quickly, and there's so much happening after he gets that phone call. And I love that you mentioned some of the side or even people who just show up in like the background of a frame. I think that every single secondary character is so fascinating and interesting. And I think it's a testament to the writing, obviously, to make everyone actually be relevant and interesting, especially when some of those characters, like all the characters in the diner, you don't see them again after they drive off.
Yeah, exactly. They're very memorable. They're very diverse, especially for the 80s.
I
Which
know.
is, I mean, there's so much stuff. Like this movie aged well. Like it's not one you have to worry about showing people. If anything, you're like, huh, see, like look at that, which is very rare with anything ever, it seems. So this is more reason to champion it. But yeah, I mean, any good movie has a diner in it, and
Yeah.
this is one of them. And everything's popping off like it's the whole reason because of their phone booth. So no, love the diner. Very interesting conversations, and just having to watch Anthony Edwards just figure out how he's going to be like, hey, so I just got a crazy call. What's going on? And I think the world's ending, and what do we do? Which is get a helicopter. That's always the lesson in these things. Between this and like Dawn of the Dead is the shit goes down, get to the chopper.
Those are words to live by. I love all of that. And I love the look of the diner. And I love how much time we spent. And both of us being noir fans, we love a diner, obviously. And I think
Yes.
there's very obvious noir elements to this film, just the way it's shot and the way the story is told. It's got great character names, like Landa being a name.
Yeah,
Love that.
absolutely.
And we don't even get to see that much of Landa, but she's spoken about a lot in this film.
She's a legend. Yeah.
But this is like a proto. It's so funny, actually. The other connection was that all three of our movies that we've talked about have been LA movies.
Yes. No, that's my requirement to do these.
We only ever. I'm gonna have to find another great LA movie after this. I mean, there's no shortage of them, but they're gonna have to live up to the three that we've talked about. But this is all shot on location in Miracle Mile in
Yeah.
LA. We're getting real locations and a huge amount of street lights and shop lights, diner lights that are used, lighting these scenes. And I think
Yes.
when I first saw it, I'm pretty sure we saw it on maybe it was like 35 millimeter was the screening. And I have two copies of it, but the one that I watched was the latest Kino release, and it looked kind of insane. That exact one.
Yeah, I'm holding it up. No, I first off, this whole release is weird, by the way, because they did a 4K restoration and yet it came out on Blu-ray. But it looks great.
It does.
This was my double dip as well, but I had to do it. I've been waiting to watch this, so this was the watch. So it was my first time experiencing this restoration. But
Same.
no, I thought it looked fantastic. A lot of cool natural lighting, which just
Hmm.
lends to the whole like nighttime, while everyone's asleep, this is what's happening kind of thing. And like you're saying, like with the three movies we've done are very there's a lot that ties them together. Like there's the fact that they have very real LA locations, kind of, sort of, kind of like, maybe somewhere a little more mainstream than others, but there's a punk mentality of just like it was almost like a fight to make these. So like, like you're here and just do it. And they all have, I want to say bummer endings, but I guess Repo Man could be a bummer ending, but just
No,
interesting endings that you think about for sure.
for sure. I definitely agree with that. A lot of neon, I think in all
Yes.
three probably, which is great. Everyone loves a neon lighting.
But this is probably like the most independent film out of all, but well, I guess no, maybe Repo Man. I don't know. Well, tough call. So it definitely is a film where it's like having to make the most of its budget. So it's not like pulling off that level of neon is you can't just expect it. Like it is an
Mm-mm.
accomplishment. Like that's well the scenes the locations that were chosen rather like were all expertly chosen, and A lot of that is Steve, the director, having had this script for so long and doing rewrites at certain points, and also just being a person who lived in LA and was living it up,
Hmm.
and he knew these locations, and a lot of these people were like real people in his lives, and a lot of up and coming actors. I mean, you see people that you're going
Hmm.
to see in other stuff down the line. It's an interesting time for the location, the people, the crew, and they just were able to come together and make something really exciting. And like you just think if you ever get a chance to actually put something out into the world, and have that kind of platform, that you're going to do something that leaves an impression and has something to say. It's very tempting to go down. And it's not that these things don't have their purpose. Like you should explore the small stories of life. I mean, we love movies. That's the best stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you get one shot at this life of ours. And some of my biggest regrets are just not speaking up in life, or just feeling like maybe I had a platform and I didn't use it. So to watch someone do that and really just stick to their guns and make sure that the film came out the way they wanted to, I respect the hell out of that. So it's just really one of the things that makes this movie so cool. And the fact that it's like not even like kind of good. It's really good. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
really exciting and terrifying movie that asks big questions, answers some little ones, but never blinks.
I mean, that's perfectly said. I agree, especially reading about the film and the fact that he bought the script back from like for
Yeah.
like 25K, and then Warner Brothers was like, "We'll buy it back from you for like." They were offering something like what he said in an interview was like 400K, and he was like, "No, I'll do it myself." That's like a respect because that's also 400K in like at that point probably late 70s, early 80s that
Oh, for
they're
sure.
offering. So that's like a lot of money. If I ever make a movie, I would be happy to just make one. And if people, not even everyone has to like it, but if there's people like us who think it's great, I will die happy. I don't need to
Yeah.
be making a bunch of work.
I couldn't even imagine I have two in me. Like, come on now. Like, to just be, yeah, you definitely, there's something to having one banger and being content to
Yes.
just having that. I think it makes everything stronger. No shade to the people that can just, turn them out. I am jealous of it, and thank you for keeping me entertained. But yeah, most of the things that really stick with me or that I want to champion are just those kind of underdogs that just did it
Hmm.
once and did it right. Just do the
Yep.
circuit, keep touring, doing little intros for the film showings, and that's
That's
great.
actually my dream life, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, mid-level is the way to go. There, like, truly, I hope. And Steve Jarnatt, like like his posts, like are a lot of times were like he was courted. Like he's a guy who like people wanted to work with him. He almost
Hmm.
did he did like a pass on the film Strange Brew, like
I saw that. Yep.
the SCTV movie, like
Hmm.
that, which is like had a big part of that, and I believe his advance is like what helps him buy back the script of this. But like he posts a lot of times of stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, I met this guy when I was getting like courted, or like, I almost directed this one, and it's like
Yeah.
it's pretty fascinating. But that's like that's perfect. Like that sounds great.
I feel like for us like nerds to even have one thing to your name, I'll speak for myself. I would be very happy. And then I could buy more Blu-rays from whatever money I get.
That's right. Maybe some cool company is releasing it, and they give you some free
I
ones. You
hope.
end up in I can't imagine my movie's gonna be in a Criterion closet, but if I can get to like a Arrow basement or something, I don't know, that'd be fine.
But like speaking of, actually, as a quick note, Kino Lorber, who released this one, a show we
Yes.
both have a lot of Kinos. They're not known
Yes.
for doing special features, to be honest. They're kind of bare bones a lot of the
Very much
time.
so.
But they did make an effort with this one, and the slipcover is great. And it's a
Yeah,
dual disc. There's two discs in there.
There is. And the slipcover, it's new artwork, which I am 9.9 times out of 10 against. But this
Okay.
actually, the artwork is so cool. I know it was done for like a showing of the movie. It was like a
Okay.
fan or someone had done it, and he was so taken with it. It's like really become,
Nice.
the artwork for the film. So I'm quite fond of it. The original poster is cool, but
Yeah.
it's just it does. I mean, it's deceptive too, which is fun when you're trying to drop this. But this is, and it just really conveys everything you need to. It's not over the top like these things usually are. Not to drop the name of another Kurt Fuller movie on it. Wasn't he an over the top the Hulk Hogan wrestling movie? I believe the fans will the fans will
I
be
have
in
no
on this
idea.
one, and they'll be like, "We can't wait for that special features episode." There's a lot of cool stuff for and this edition has his short film, which is
Hmm.
a film noir from 1978 called Tarzana, which I still have not watched, and part of me has dreamt about covering it on that little podcast I used to and maybe still
Oh
do.
my
So,
God. You
um,
should.
yeah, no, I maybe, but a lot of cool stuff on here. We haven't even talked yet about how the two star-crossed lovers,
I
root-crossed
know.
lovers in this ended up together in real life,
In real
having
life.
met on this film many years later after both having been married and divorced. That's pretty
Hmm.
fucking cool. I
It's
love that.
very interesting. And that actually brings it to one of the points that I had for this. Not that they got together, but their chemistry in this film. So I read a lot of articles. There's really not that much material out there on this movie, and oddly enough, there's a lot of like personal reviews, which I always find fascinating to read too
Here's another
as
one, right?
readers. Exactly. This is, our personal reviews, but it's very 50-50, and I think there's a lot of people do not like this movie, and but the people who do absolutely love it, but the people who don't describe it as a romantic comedy in a derogatory way.
Hmm.
So, one, I never thought of this as a romantic comedy. I think there's elements of comedy. I think there's elements of romance. There's a lot of that in a lot of movies. I would not describe this as a romantic comedy. I think they're doing that to kind of put down the film. And they talk about the performances specifically. And I wonder if for them it's a casting issue. So I actually wanted to ask you, because rewatching it, I was like, I can see why people don't love them together. I don't mind them together. Do you think that maybe this was miscast, or maybe one of the actors was miscast, or are you perfectly on board?
Yeah, I mean, I'm along for the ride. I don't necessarily need to think that these are the greatest of people. I mean, people make choices in this film that are
Mhm.
just horrible, but it's the end of the world. I mean, there's chaos going on, and
Yeah,
the rules of society no longer apply. It's would I have cast it like this? Probably not. Like, but that's
yeah,
what makes it interesting to me. And I thought they did a great job. I do even looking at this couple, like, would they still be together if these were not the circumstances? Like, would they still be diamonds if the world doesn't nuke them into being such? Probably not. No. But it kind of speaks to that young, fleeting, like, hey, we just had a really good date. Like, let's keep this thing
mhm,
going, before we actually realize who we are. I think that plays perfectly into it. And like people are a little weird when they get woken up all of a sudden and just rushed around, like I think if you look at it through that lens, I mean, the characters make sense. He slept through an alarm, the power went out, like basically just like
mhm.
no one got a good night's sleep, which is not good for a nuclear apocalypse, but
Good on him for even getting up once he realized it was like 3:40 in the morning. I would have been like, "Well, I'm just
truly.
going back." RIP to that relationship, I guess, but I'll be going back to sleep. I think that they're very 80s performances, and I say that, in a positive
Sure.
way because I love 80s movies.
Especially in the beginning. Even the title, the credits font is very
Oh my
80s.
god, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The scrolling over, which I think is fun, but I think that sometimes people people are hard on 80s movies, and they
Absolutely.
don't like the energy a lot of the time. A lot of the people describing her as like a prototype of the manic pixie girl, and I was like, I think she just has a weird haircut and wears a lot of colors. I don't think she's like a manic pixie girl type. I don't think she's even weird. Like
Yeah,
she's a little quirky, but like I think it's just because she's from the 80s, you know. Um,
absolutely.
I don't think it's anything other than that.
No, it really is that. I mean, she's not my favorite actor for sure. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
there's mostly times when she shows up and things, I'm not necessarily psyched like I would be with other people, but it's not like she's fine. She's certainly not like there really isn't anyone that's so spectacular. It's like this is why I love this movie. It really is like how it's written and produced and directed and so forth. But no one is bad enough that you notice it. I mean, maybe some people have that opinion of Mayor Winningham, but
maybe.
people are like that. That's just life.
And I think that a lot of the best movies, not all, but a lot of the best movies are when the secondary characters are more interesting than the leads. It kind of
Truly.
gets you to be like, okay, I can follow the leads because they're not trying to be these superheroes. And everyone else being more interesting kind of drives the story along. I think that's for me, the two leads are the most boring, and that's fine. I don't think you need them to be anything other than that.
As actors, like they're not lead actors typically, so it's almost
Exactly.
like non-leads, you know. So the side character is almost like the C characters, and like we don't even know
Hmm.
who the A characters in. Maybe those are the people trying to save the world in a whole other movie, but it really does make the sides shine. I also want to shout out, speaking of the side characters, the gym instructor who can fly a
Yes.
helicopter.
I was literally
Very
just thinking
cool.
about that scene.
Yeah, no, I mean, that whole scene is so good. I mean, even just the stress of him going into the gym, which is like, yeah, we're talking the 80s. You gotta see some aerobics, but like, this is
Yes.
what you're gonna get in this movie. You're in a mall, like all the classics. The tropes of the 80s are all over this movie. Don't worry.
And I love it.
Also, quickly, if you don't like these main characters, I got good news for you. They're gonna fucking die in the end anyway, so it should be satisfying for you on some level. So, like, there is no arguments here. Everyone's covered, so shut up, everyone. But no, the going to the gym is so good, and you find like you hear this guy, he's like, "I can fly a helicopter." You're like, "Oh shit, that's awesome!" And Harry's got a gun, Anthony Edwards, and I also love when he's like, "Hey, I'll do it, but I got to get someone." And he's like, "No, we don't have time." And he's like, "Then fucking shoot me." He's like, "All right." Then he goes like to the next room to get his boyfriend. It takes two
Yeah.
seconds. Like we had time. He could be like, "Hey, come on." But it was great. And they do a nice little like 80s reveal, like, I bet you weren't expecting that. And they're even like,
I
you got a
know.
problem with that? And then us as an audience are like, fuck no, we don't have a problem with that. World's ending. Let's go. Let's do this thing. Maybe Kurt Fuller has some good drugs left. Let's do.
I mean, it's like, as you said, it's surprisingly progressive.
Yeah.
Because even today, I don't know that you would get something like that that isn't played for laughs, and I don't think this is played for laughs. I think this movie is
No.
actually very serious, but doesn't take itself so seriously that you're like, "Okay, come on." There are humor elements to it, but I think that was a serious moment, and you're just like, "Okay, yeah." You don't
Yeah.
think about it twice unless
No.
you're a freak, and then I don't even know why you're watching this movie if you're gonna have a problem with that.
Yeah. There should have already been things that turned you off, once you get to the diner, basically.
I know.
But it is like anytime you see these and then something like that starts to come along and you're like, "Oh god, here we go." And you even look next to the person, you're like, Here we go. I'm sorry I put this on, like, this is gonna be weird. This is all you're gonna be thinking about." But, because 'cause we're conditioned to feel
I
like that.
know. I
It's like
know.
being at, Thanksgiving your whole life, basically. But, then it's all cool, and then you're like, "Okay, wait, this is the moment it won't be cool." And it's just cool the whole time, so
I
that
know.
is an accomplishment.
I think also with that scene, because I always every time I think of Miracle Mile, there's a lot of things I think of, but I always think of that gym scene, and I think about the camera work in that gym scene, and the way the camera follows him and kinda scans around. There's that
Yeah.
scene, and one of the maybe when he first enters the diner, it was either after the call or right before, but the way the camera moves around, it's so seamless, it's not showy, but it really kinda sets the dread of the
Oh,
story because
yeah.
there is a lot of dread, because at the if you've never seen it, you don't know you are expecting the world to end, but at some point there you're like, "Oh, wait a minute, maybe it's not going to." but it always keeps that dread going on, which I think is just fantastic. And I really, really wish that he had gotten to do more work like this, but it's also kind of cool. Again, this can be his one big hit wonder,
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, there's always plenty of what ifs, and hey, who knows? A miracle could happen on the mile. Maybe it gets another chance, and something amazing happens. I mean, he's definitely shown that the longer it takes, the better it is. So,
Exactly.
there's something to that. But no, I mean, the diner scene, just to keep going back to that, like, because he gets to the diner and then pops out for a second to make a phone call and then, gets the phone call, and then goes back into the diner and the tone has completely changed. So, like, when you first go in, it's just introducing everyone and you're like, oh,
Hmm.
whoops, he slept in. I hope this works out. And then, instantly feeling like, oh, no, 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 there's a chance that there's no tomorrow. Then goes back in and it's just very like depressed and slow and just like, this is gonna suck. And like, I gotta just become very extroverted all of a sudden, and
Yeah.
really, try to get people. And that was what's fascinating after where, thankfully the right people are at this diner that are like, hey, I've heard of that. Or like, I work with the government and I have a phone in my briefcase, all the good stuff. Trying though, everyone just trying to figure out what to do when they're talking about like, who are we gonna try to save? Because they're gonna go to Antarctica, which also these things
Yeah.
teach you, go to Antarctica. So get in a helicopter and get to Antarctica. If we have any advice to give you at the end of this, it is that. Maybe some of them even made it there too, like maybe there's a
Hmm.
happy ending somewhere. I mean, that's something, probably not. But yeah, just the interactions, the people whose lives you come into and make tragic. I mean, the one guy that he gets and they're like blowing up gas stations and
Hey, you're reading my mind
yeah,
because I wanted to talk about that scene. Because for some
yes,
reason, I it's not one of the first scenes I think about, but on this watch, it really stood out to me. So Wilson, who he kind of just he's lying on the ground, the guy stops for him because he's like,
jumps out of a moving vehicle on a highway exit, which is just like terrifying. And then yeah, thankfully does not get murdered and hijinks ensue yet.
so he takes him hostage essentially, and he has him fill up the gas at supposed to be for taxis only. I don't know if that's an actual thing. Maybe it was in the 80s.
I could
Um,
see that being a thing because taxis don't want to wait or something like that.
that's true.
But yeah,
But everything that happens in that scene, and it's so quick, and you might
yeah.
think, what does this really add to the story? But I think it's really ramping things up at that point. The shot after he pours gasoline on the cops and the cop shoots out into the air essentially, and sets herself fully on fire and then just explosion. They really put that 3 million budget to use,
Oh
in the
yeah.
best way.
Oh yeah. No, it's
They were going
fantastic. I
far,
mean,
those dollars.
it's an action movie. And also with him, Wilson, he said his name was. I
Mhm.
apologize, I don't have it in front of me. But I mean, first off, he's fantastic in this.
He is.
If you look him up, he has a long career. He's popped up in some things you may have seen. But he's really good. He gets really emotional, especially when it comes to like his sister and stuff like that. He's so good. Like the mall scene, when
Yep.
he's like going up the escalator and stuff is like, yeah, yeah, very, very tragic. And just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he got to have, it wasn't necessarily fun, but at least
Yeah.
excitement before he died.
I was glad that, I remember the first time watching it, I was glad that we didn't just not see him again because a lot of the characters you just never see again. And this which
Yeah.
is fair because everyone's scrambling to, fuck off essentially. But we do get to see him back, even though it was by accident, and that he has gotten his sister. But, I mean, they die, everyone dies, but they die just before in a not great way, unfortunately. But we do
Yeah,
get
but I
a
would
mall
rather
scene.
die from that instead of drowning in tar.
I know.
I gotta say, you wouldn't think that would be a more appealing death, but when you're ranking them, I gotta say, uh, all of the deaths before the final deaths, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I would take that too. I will gladly be
Unless I'm
shot.
on Kurt Fuller drugs, then it's all good. Well, then we can just do whatever.
Yeah. There's a lot of great scenes. I'm thinking of specifically, and this is just like this episode is us gushing and giving some fun facts, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Uh,
as it
but
is. How do you do these shows otherwise?
I don't know, to be honest. You kind of have to. But the scene where this is after the mall scene, and everything on the streets is starting to get chaotic, and he jumps on top of a car, and the guy decides to chase him with the gun into the
Yeah,
sewers, and I'm like,
he's relentless.
yeah, I was like, he
Yeah.
really could have just let it go. The world is ending, but he decided to chase them, and it's actually terrifying, but also hilarious at the same time that he really went to those lengths to try and find this man for just
Hey,
jumping out of his car.
all those times you get road rage, someone cuts you off, and you're just like, today's the day. Well, guess what? It actually is. And why not? Why not just chase him down?
It's so funny because Anthony Edwards plays it great, where you can tell that he's like, okay, I need to get away from this guy, but his mind is on other things. Where he's like, there's actually more
Yes.
important things going on,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
do also need to not get shot right now.
I love that anytime he's holding a gun, he is so non-threatening in any way
Yeah.
whatsoever, which is very relatable. That's how I imagine I would look with the gun.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would do the exact same.
That's why, again, like maybe this is weirdly cast, but they're just real people to me. So I think that adds to it.
I think it's that. I think that people are not expecting kind of nerdy looking guys or people to be in the leads in an action film. So,
Yeah,
especially if you've seen, I mean, I know he's known for ER and Top Gun, but I always just think of him from Revenge of the Nerds.
no, sure. I was even like, what else do you got? But definitely one that it cannot go through as safely as this one does in as far
It
as the
very
current
much
lenses
cannot.
go. But that's the conversation is like there's this movie and then there's the rest of them.
Yeah, then there's Revenge of the Nerds. Highly problematic, but still a lot of fun, unfortunately. I still
Not
do
his
enjoy that movie.
performance though. His performance,
No,
and I believe even in character, right? His character's okay.
his character's
I
fine.
don't I don't think he does anything horrible in that.
He's a safe space in that movie, in that
There you
story.
go. And an ER too, which also could be problematic, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
don't
I've
know.
ever seen an ER episode in my life, actually. Especially not his era, if I have seen it.
I think he was actually well, no way. I think he was on for a little bit, but I don't think he was like Noah Wiley, who was like there the whole time. But
Oh, okay.
I watched some when it was happening just to dip in. Don't you got to see what it's all about.
Yeah.
Uh, I find that stuff very boring. But to my taste, I understand it can appeal to others. So
Yeah. I
I
mean,
I'm happy to make blanket statements about a lot of things, but I will say that's just not for me. Do your thing.
that's fair. I mean, I'm not going to fight you on that at all.
But definitely, you think of him from ER, and yeah, he was Goose in Top Gun, which
Hmm.
I think also helped. If I think that was before this, and that helped him
Uh-huh.
like be in this and help get funding or whatever.
I mean,
Kurt Russell, I saw
that's
was
good.
considered for the role at one point, which is a whole different movie.
Exactly. It would be a whole different movie. I mean, he'd be great, but it would be a whole energy shift.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want to see that movie still, but I mean, I feel like that's also just Snake Plissken. Like we found it.
Yeah, I also saw that Nick Cage was considered, and he, I think, had signed on, but then got pulled out because he did Peggy Sue's, got married to Peggy Sue.
She does get married. Yeah,
Um, so he went to
spoiler.
go do that. He went to go do the voice that he did in that, which I'm sure took a lot of training and prep for,
Do you
so he
think he
can do
developed
that.
it for this movie and then was like,
I
well,
hope.
shit, I already got this voice? Because at first I'm like, that actually could be interesting. Like, I bet he would give a fun performance. But yeah, with that
Oh, I'm sure
voice,
he would.
maybe that would be better. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad he did that voice.
Same. Oh, I love it.
Obviously with the gift of hindsight, but yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. But there's actually someone we didn't mention,
who's
and I
that?
want to call him out
Oh
because
shit.
we've talked about, call him out in a good way. Well, even
Oh,
though I
okay.
think
Oh,
he was
yeah.
problematic, but like call him out because there's a lot of things I just said there.
Yeah, yeah.
But because we are both, 40s and 50s movies fans, John Agar, who plays her grandfather in this,
Yes, yes.
he was a big B movie star essentially. Back in his day, doing a lot of sci-fi stuff. Some of his big ones were like Tarantula and Revenge of the Creature, The Mole People. He showed up in a lot of westerns too, as like side characters. He was never the lead, other than like those B sci-fi horror movies. So
Do you think there was tension between him and Anthony Edwards because he wasn't asked to be in the sequel to Revenge of the Mole People, Revenge of the Nerds?
I don't know. Maybe. His I don't know if he's wearing dentures or if he had gotten one of the early, what do you call those that everyone's getting now with their teeth, but his teeth were very white and very straight, and I was like, I don't know, you've been around for a long time, and also this is the 80s when people would have just regular teeth in movies. They
Yeah.
stood out to
Maybe
me at
that's
least.
that's the curse of the 4K scan, maybe.
It might have been.
Those hues are really coming out and shining bright. This you might want to watch this one on CRT when it comes to those scenes with Grandpa for sure.
I wanted to just shout out that, and
That
if
dentist,
you
yeah.
wanted, well, that too. Whatever
Yeah, shout
dentist he
out that
had in the
dentist.
80s.
Yeah, no. I hope that's
He's
still
getting
around.
using that B movie money.
You dig up his corpse, I bet those teeth still look great.
I'm sure they do. There's no way they
Yeah.
were real teeth. So good for him, I guess. Do your
Yeah.
thing.
They'll survive a nuclear holocaust.
If we move towards like the end of the movie, and I know we've kind of touched upon it, but like, yeah, like at this point, you have been following these characters through high tension moments where you still at the end, you still don't know what's going to actually happen. And there seems to be a lot that's happened. I think that it's not even remotely unrealistic, seeing as we all lived through a pandemic where people were just going batshit over toilet
Yeah.
paper, let alone, the threat of the world ending. I could 100% see any of this happening. I do like that he does get to punch through a window, because for
Yes.
some reason they can't hear the TV through the window. No judgment. It gets its little
You know,
action
I
scene there.
my hearing's not so great these days either, so I get it.
So I love that. We also get that scene that you mentioned, closer to the top where the reporter gets shot. Um,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
because I guess why wouldn't you do that if,
Yeah, no,
you know?
it makes me laugh in a way of just like, oh, yeah, people are that's pretty true and depressing, which is most of my chuckles throughout. But they're just as dark as this movie is, it's very cathartic. It's definitely like it's like now, how like everything is terrible in the world, like with
Yes.
political fascism and everything.
Hmm.
And you're like, finally, you can go to everyone like, see, I told you. And then they're like, cool. What does that actually get me though? Like that's very much what this is. Of just like, yeah, this is saying everything I wanted to say. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a shame. Like there's a moment of clarity that is not fun. But this is actually a very cathartic movie for me, just because these are thoughts that I have a lot of. Just like, wow, like everything is crazy, the
Hmm.
world is crazy. It could be. I mean, especially this is the film made from people who had to duck under their desks and do these nuclear drills. Like
Yep.
I'm lucky enough to have gotten out of school before they did school shooting drills. Like, like there's a stress of life, that's just like on you all the time. So like the
Yep.
fact that there's not a ton of these kinds of movies is weird, because it's like, are we not all thinking about this? But I mean, that's why they're not getting made, is because, people don't want to be bummed out. That's, as we were saying, like a struggle
Yep.
with getting this one made is, it's better to have a happy ending. But
Hmm.
uh, you know, I like film noir. Hey, out of the podcast, I used to do a film noir podcast. Maybe it's coming back, as you heard. Uh,
Hopefully not
I love.
maybe, and hopefully 100% coming back.
There you go. I think hope is there's the one hope you're gonna find in this episode. Don't worry. I but I love a bummer ending. It's
So do I.
they're just realistic. I wish I lived a life where everything went my way, but it doesn't. So I feel
Hmm.
seen when I see a bummer ending. You're like, finally, like not just me, huh? Like there's something to that. And this is the ultimate bummer ending, I think. Because it's not like you just be like, boy, everything's gonna be okay, and the nuke goes off. You watch them fucking drowned in the black tar. Like it is
Yeah,
very claustrophobic. It's very it's just it ticks all the boxes of like biggest fears for sure.
I know. I think it's so much more powerful to have it that way than as opposed to just having a cut of a scene of a huge explosion happening and then we know
Yeah.
that they're dead. I think
I mean,
watching
we
them
get it,
makes
but
it feel, yeah. It's
yeah.
like they've already accepted that they're dying before they actually die.
Yeah. Diamonds, baby, everything will be all right. That's what's important,
With the state of the world, sometimes you're like, maybe we just need to reset.
honestly. No,
Just
truly.
nuke it all and let's have a reset because we're not going in a great direction.
No, no.
And I'm sure even a year from now, we'll be talking about how we're still not going in a great direction, unfortunately.
But maybe that's going to inspire people to make their miracle mile and
I
use their
hope.
platform that hopefully they're able to get, which is both easier and harder to come by, and really just say something that matters and that
I
is
know.
important. And, you know, obviously keep saying what's important to you. We want all stories, but
Hmm.
the people that have it in them to really step it up and do something special and possible life changing, you know, great works can inspire. That's what you hope you can get from these things. This film is a testament to that, and it's inspiring on many levels. You watch this and you're like, maybe I should go out for a walk and enjoy that sunshine while I still have it. You know,
I
like
know.
go to the diner and meet the people I'm gonna like go to the end of the world with, because yeah, there's just a lot of messages in this, and
Hmm.
they're all great. They're all great. You know, they're great about not great, but they
Yeah,
it's good, and that's why I will always show this film to people. You know,
as
it's
you
not
should.
my favorite film of all time, but it kind of is also like, because I also love that I know I wish the world has seen it, but I love that people
Yeah.
haven't, because I
Yes.
you never know what people know, especially as you meet people with similar tastes. Maybe they know a few things that you're like, I would have shown you that. Now I can't. And you get, you know, I love showing people things that they haven't seen. It's one of the greatest joys I get in life. You know, that's, you got to do something with this taste you build. So just showing this to people, watching the bookends of like that, you know, 80s, having fun, we're all in love, everything's quirky,
Hmm.
beginning to the opposite of like, no, things are terrible. And, uh, you know, and we don't have time for love. Love kills, life kills. And thankfully, this hasn't happened yet. So, what are we going to do?
I think that's perfectly put. I think also to package all of that in a very efficient runtime. We are not
Yes.
making them like this anymore. Another director, it would take them 2.5 hours to tell the story, and it would not be as effective.
No.
You don't need over explaining. You know, the world's ending in 70 minutes. It's,
Yeah, no. And that's
you've
what's so
got 70
cool is
minutes.
like, there's all the, first off, we could talk about it for even more than 70 minutes, but that's what's great
Hmm.
about it. And it just packs in so much. So it's like, that's what keeps this momentum going besides the wonderful
Hmm.
score. I don't know if we mentioned it. Uh, it, it's moving constantly and ramping up to the point where like, boy, I don't know how you could ramp it up more, like higher than this. Oh, I guess a nuke that ends the world is the ultimate ramp up. So, you know, you did it. But it just keeps, there's a momentum, and so much happens that you're just shocked at the runtime, honestly.
I know. Those are my favorites. And like
Yeah.
again, I mean, I keep mentioning film noir, but it is very much like those film noir films. And maybe like one that I probably quite obviously picked as my double bill does a lot of in a short runtime. But before we even get to that, I want to ask if you have any final words, anything that I'm sure we could talk about this maybe forever, but any final words either to convince someone to watch. Well, no. I'm hoping that you've watched this movie if you're listening to this. But maybe, I don't know, your final words on why you think this is a movie that's worth watching, buying, and watching more than once.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you're still gonna like this movie if you just listen to this and haven't watched it yet. But I will say
Hmm.
you did it wrong. You fucked up. Like it's you'll be fine because that's how good this movie is. But
Yeah.
it just I really can't recommend if you've seen it and you want to show other people it like you will, just show it to them and they'll buy a copy. Maybe everybody buys 2 copies, then you just give it to the next person, and we're just
Mm.
passing that 1 copy along. But it it's just it's so important. I mean, I stake my entire reputation on this movie with recommending it always. Like it just is. It's that good. You'll find something like sure you might not be like this is the Citizen Kane of films, but it is the Citizen Kane of its genre, I
Yep.
would say, and everything that you want from movies, I think, and from film is here. Like it's a conversation piece. It's something you haven't seen before. But it's also not. It doesn't feel modern, but it doesn't feel dated. Obviously, this would be a weird one to do in the age of cell phones, which is always a
Yeah.
problem with a lot of movies post cell
Yeah.
phone. But maybe not. I don't know. You take out some sort of cell phone network and then you just
Yeah.
take it from there. But look, I'm not trying to propose any reboots here. You just do your own thing. But it's just every facet about it is pretty cool. Even if you don't like the main actors, I think even they can be argued. And I did my best in this episode. Which again, I will say, if you don't like them, they die. Everyone dies. So if you're like, I was listening to my favorite podcast, and here's this Joey guy again, I'm gonna fucking die too. So just wait it out.
Oh God.
Hopefully not from nukes like the rest of us, but it's not looking good. Certainly, the environment, look, it's easy to look how this is such a conversation piece. We're talking about the
I
important
know.
issues. These are important issues. We need to prevent these things from happening. If you have a friend who works in the missile silo and is trying to get a hold of his dad, maybe see if you can stop this thing from the inside
Mhm.
and make world peace happen. And at the very least, we're going to get closer to world peace with more people watching this movie.
I hope
Steve
so.
Jarnatt is just he really made something special. He could totally coast off of this, but he's still doing very interesting work. I mean, he pops up in a lot of weird places you wouldn't expect him to. One of my favorite shows growing up and even still now is this animated show on MTV called Aeon Flux. And
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know
he
that.
directed an episode of that, and that's a very
Oh,
fucking weird
wow.
show, but like is also kind of in the wheelhouse. So like there's a lot of 6 degrees of separation of all your favorite things. We connected Wayne's World to this
Yep.
twice. So how cool is that? Like I mean, look, that's more than most podcast episodes can do. So, we'll take our potty of the year or whatever they call it. Like we did it. We did it.
I mean, I think there's a lot that came out of this movie, in more ways than one, and I think that I also love recommending this to people. I haven't had the pleasure of actually sitting down with someone and having them watch it for the first time, so that is
It is
my
a true
next goal.
pleasure.
That
Yeah.
is really the next one. I feel like
Your
my dad would like
sister,
this movie.
your dad and your sister. It's a family
Hopefully.
film.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
gonna watch it Christmas
once,
Day.
yeah, once she takes your call, then you could set this up. And all you'll be like is like, I got a little Lizzie McGuire thing for you. You're gonna love it. And maybe even
There you
watch
go.
a couple of his episodes before or after.
Yeah.
We don't need to have broken promises at Christmas, but it is great. And I even actually had my old roommate who I showed this to. He texted me a week ago, shockingly enough, and said he showed someone this movie, and that made me so satisfied to hear.
Oh, wow.
So I'm doing my part.
You're
Hopefully, I
doing
can
your
sell a
part.
couple copies at Kino. But they did reprint this, so like they
Yep.
seem. And you're saying like there's special features on it. Like I think they are happy to have this in their catalog, and that's great because it deserves championing, and they're also such a cool imprint. So
Yeah. I love
everyone's
Kino.
coming
I'm a
together.
big
Yeah,
Kino
I
head.
love Kino. Absolutely. Just check my
Yeah.
shelf. I can prove it.
I know, same looking over at it, but they actually put an effort on this. So someone at Kino is a big Miracle Mile head. And hopefully
Yes.
they listen to this episode because I don't know,
I bet Lorber is who to thank for this one, right?
maybe.
Appreciate a Lorber.
I don't often check to see how many podcasts have done episodes for films that I watch, but I can almost guarantee this would be one of the few ones. So I think the Google SEO is gonna work in our favor. And who knows, maybe Kino will send us a copy of their next reissue of this in 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully sooner. Do the 4K. I think is what everyone was saying. The best part is that this was a 4K restoration put on Blu-ray, so they
Yeah.
have it. It just has to happen, which I think it will. I'm going to stay positive on that one. That would be cool. Maybe we're in the next format by that point if we still have it. Everything is under the threat of nuclear war, be it physical media or the physical media that is planet Earth. Um,
Yes.
so just keep enjoying this film.
Hmm.
I can't imagine I'm ever going to stop watching it,
Oh,
every
same.
couple years, sometime sooner. I actually have a coworker I've been meaning to show this to, so that's going to happen and ruin his life. It's nice to ruin someone's life, but also enrich it. Usually you don't get to do
Yes.
both. It's one or the other, but Miracle Mile gives it both ways.
There you go. And I'm curious actually, the next time you show this or any other time you show this to someone, if it's worth wanting to have a movie night and you're pairing
Yeah.
this with another film or films if you have more than one option, what what's the double bill looking like? What other film are you picking?
Yeah, in this crazy world where I've done Kurt Fuller drugs to stay awake for two movies, I barely pulled it off yesterday for Halloween. But I mean, hey, film noir. Remember that stuff we were talking about?
Mm,
Kiss Me Deadly
that was on my
could
list too.
be. Yeah, which I know has come up because of that has very with Repo Man. Spoilers for Repo Man. See, you think you're safe listening to one episode of a movie you saw, and then the spoiler comes up for the other. That's a tough one because this movie really is like no other.
I know.
Because just what it achieves. You know what? I would probably, I guess if I am hanging out with these people, and I guess I want them to have to maybe go on, get help, mental help, uh, really just drive them to a nervous breakdown. Children of Men could go great with this, I think.
Damn, okay. Going
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah, no, you have to. I mean, we're having the conversation. You're like, okay, well, if this doesn't happen, then this is going to happen. There's only two routes to go, and
It's two options.
yeah, and it's those two masterpieces of desperation and the mirror of our society.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you do really need to just humble your friends and just be like, listen, we're enjoying life a little too much in these dark times. Let's bring it down a
Yeah.
notch. Here's a couple movies.
Or I put on some ridiculous comedy, I guess, and just like just change the whole conversation. But maybe I would open with that so I could really make Miracle Mile hit harder.
Hit. I definitely think that Miracle Mile has to go second
Yeah,
for
I know,
any
because there's no
double
way you
bill
can enjoy anything after. Yeah,
after.
yeah, no matter what. Even like, I don't think you can even do Children of Men after this, honestly.
No, I don't even know if you'd
No.
want to. I think at least Miracle Mile would be nice and refreshing after Children of Men.
Yeah, especially the first 20 minutes. You're like, you know what? I appreciate this little palate cleanser. Oh, God, wait, what happens?
No, those are good. Those are
What do
good
you have?
choices. I also had Kiss Me Deadly on there,
I had a feeling,
because I was just thinking about that one. If we're thinking
right?
of, films that take place in a short amount of time, I know this is not technically a 24-hour movie because the first 15, 20 minutes is like I think it takes place over a couple days at least. But then we get into like something that's supposed to be 70 minutes long. But if we're thinking of something that's overnight. You could do after hours also. That'd be a good fast-paced
Yeah.
one. Um, and then one I was thinking of that I was like, there's no way it wasn't inspired by Miracle Mile. And I can't remember if you didn't like this movie. It's a modern one, Love Lies Bleeding. I can't remember. Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
not like
I
that one?
I didn't like it. I mostly the ending, honestly. I didn't care for.
I loved
I
it. It's one of the few modern ones, but I knew there was a reason why I was remembering uh
yeah.
your your thoughts
I
on it.
liked I liked a lot of it, and a lot of why I was bummed is because I really wanted to like it, and but
Yeah.
I cannot sanction that ending, unfortunately.
That's fair. But I think visually it has to be inspired by this.
Yeah, no, totally. And yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the visuals were not. I guess the visuals of why I was having this ending unfold in front of me was I had a
Yeah.
problem with, but otherwise, it was like cinematography. That movie was very great. I can compliment parts of that movie for sure, but yeah, yeah,
That's fair.
yeah,
No, so yeah, but also sometimes you don't double bill and you double bill it with a conversation instead. Uh, you watch a
absolutely. You
movie,
know,
have a convo.
you could do like a. I mean, if you're trying to have, I guess I don't know if you would close with. Yeah, you couldn't close with it, but if at least if you're trying to have, I don't know what kind of conversation, you do like a holy mountain, just really just be like, you know what? We're all in on this one. We're having ourselves a fucking evening.
I mean,
Uh
yeah, then you might
yeah,
need to partake in some sort of illicit substance.
absolutely. You go through once again the Kurt Fuller catalog.
Yeah.
He's gonna have something in there for you for that. Then after that, I don't know. I may have blown my wad of like movies I like to throw at people.
I mean, that's fair. It's good to have at least a good stellar amount. But the last thing I'll say on Kurt Fuller, because I
Yes,
completely forgot about it, I love when he
never the
smashes
end.
the bottle of wine. And I'm like, one, the wine's mostly gone. There's definitely
Yeah,
glass in this. And he drinks it and he's like, this is terrible. I'm like, well,
yeah.
you're on a
At least
lot of
he's
drugs.
honest. Yeah, no, for sure. He's a beautifully hairy man in that.
Yes.
Yeah, just just so good. He is the best. I still enjoy seeing him.
Hmm.
Just one of those, side actors who showed up in so much that really was one of the first guys I was like, wait, I gotta know this guy's name. Like, what's his deal? I really enjoy him and what he brings to the table.
I know. I always love those. We don't, I mean, I'm sure there's obviously still to this day a lot of actors like that, but I think the ones from the 80s and 90s hit differently, especially once you watch it much later and you're like, oh, that's that guy.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a lot of, hey, that's that guy in this
It's
movie.
so oversaturated now that like
I know.
everybody's that, hey, that's that guy at this point.
That's
So
true.
it's less special, but no, I mean that, and of course, I don't know if I mentioned that I'm old, but I'm sure a lot of that
Same.
is
I'm
painted by
also,
that. But I I I enjoy that. I love that about movies. Oh, I enjoy being old too, I suppose. But I enjoy this. I love the side people.
hmm
I love the common threads, the people that you see them and you're like, okay, like it's at least that good, like my
I
time's at
know.
least not this wasted.
Yeah,
Which is great. Like it's something that goes unacknowledged, which is the nature of those roles, but it's special and important, and it makes me feel good. And I'm happy to shout out Kurt Fuller in this movie because he's. I mean, he comes back again, but it's still
hmm
brief. But he's one of the few that we do get a couple shots of, and
hmm
it's great. He's fantastic.
He put on a great performance. And I
I
think
could watch like a Rashomon of this movie of just every different angle of everyone's
that would be
experience
fun.
leading up to that. Yeah,
I think if it's gonna need to be remade, which I really hope not, let's just keep this and needs to be from the 80s, but we could approach it that way. Um
absolutely.
I can't imagine who would do it correctly, but that's hopefully not a question that we need to ask ourselves anytime soon. Because Kino has it. So you could just watch
Div.
this version of it. Um
This print is so good, it modernizes it almost. You're like, wow, this
I
is
mean,
it's like a new movie, you know? Wow, all right. We could just keep
it
doing
kind of
that. And
does.
who needs new movies when we just got new additions to Miracle Mile?
That's essentially what the thesis is of my show.
Yes.
I definitely don't want to be seeing remakes.
That'll be on the tote bag. Who needs new movies?
I mean, I do get roasted for that too. I think my most recent series, which is on Lars von Trier, was probably the more recent work that I've covered, and now I'm going back to the 50s right after that.
Can I say something I'm never going to get to say in life or on a
Please.
podcast as far as Lars von Trier? Nymphomaniac. I want to say like necrophiliac. I'm like, it's not that.
I mean,
Shia LaBeouf in that movie, his performance, he's doing an impression of David Brent from The Office. All right? I just want to say that and put that out there. Okay, move on. I'll never get an opportunity to say that again.
wow. Okay.
Think about it when you don't watch that movie again. But yeah.
That's true. It doesn't have a huge rewatch factor, that's for sure, like most of his movies. But if the occasion occurs, I will need to be watching it through that lens. I
You
will
have
not be
to.
thinking of
I
anything
think I
else.
had just rewatched the British Office like right before that. I was able to put that together, but he absolutely is.
Oh my God. That's funny.
Bet you didn't see that coming. There's my twist ending, everybody.
I did not. So
That's the nuke
I
I just
mean,
drummed. The Shia nuke.
I think that's a good way to bring it back full circle
That's right.
in this film and drown ourselves in tar and say thank you, Joey, for talking about this movie. I'm always so happy when I get to talk to you, but also people when it's actually a film that they genuinely love and is important to them because it just makes for a better episode. So I am so grateful.
This was the most confident I was coming into a podcast
That's
of all
good.
time. Of all
Oh my
time,
God.
honestly. Like I didn't need to rewatch it, but I wanted to see the new print.
Why
But
not? Yep.
this was I had very brief notes that I was worried
Yeah.
I'd forget, and they all just came. I didn't even reference them until the end, and I was like, "Yep, I said all that." Yeah, I'm so glad that you awarded me this platform to
Oh my gosh.
gush and interrupt you too many times as always. I apologize. I'm a terrible guest.
No.
Imagine me as a host; it's even fucking worse. But no, I'm just truly grateful, and obviously we're grateful for you as a host and for the show that you do and the movies you bring conversation to and make people watch and just for your friendship. On a selfish note, I'm always grateful for you,
Yes,
and
I know.
thank you.
Seeing Faces in Movies is an official podcast of the Real Film Club. It's hosted and edited by Felicia and Moranis, with intro music by Lamar Walker. If you like what you heard, let us know at seeingfacesmovies.com or send us an email at seeingfacesmovies@gmail.com. And while you're at it, please subscribe and rate the show wherever you listen to your podcast. And thanks for joining us for our bonus episode.